Welcome back, my favorite agents, my fellow agents. You are my favorite agents for listening and watching and just generally supporting me. I really appreciate it. Since Sven Gulli aired The Crawling Eye last night, we are going to be talking about this fine, fun movie. And we'll just get right into it here. I do have a couple the trailer here to listen to, and we'll see at the end of the show. Whoa, that's loud.
This alarm fills the night with terror. For high on a mountainside, a mysterious force of evil that fears such as no human being has ever seen before.
Well, they sure haven't. So, the copy I got to review from the lovely Internet Archive is the Trollenberg Terror, which is the exact same, apparently. For some reason, I thought the US version and the British version were different, but apparently they both run 84 minutes and don't have any difference except for the title, which is this: The Trollenberg Terror and The Crawling Eye. Looks exactly the same, doesn't it? Except this one's just a bigger picture. But before we get too much further into it, please like, share, subscribe, vote in the poll. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the bell so that you'll be notified. We do put content up every day. And yeah, for I think a year now. No, not quite a year. Almost a year. But season 2 will be starting in a month, or season 3, pardon me, because I just started at the first of the year. Grab yourself a big old bowl of hummus of perfection and your favorite delivery method. This is your humble agent of awesome X7, and I'll try to refrain from making eye jokes. I certainly will. So there, I blew it already. All right, it's a pretty fun little movie. It's made by Eros Films, and I think it's set in Germany, if I'm not mistaken, because they speak a lot of German. It says they're headed for, or the two sisters, Anne and Sarah Pilgrim. That's not subtle, are headed for Geneva. They're a mind reading act. We start out with these two, well, there's three dopes, but we don't see the second one, climbing this mountain, and the guy falls down and is headless. And then we segue into the crawling eye. Although, like I said, I didn't see if Sven aired the crawling eye copy or the actual Trollenberg Terror. Anyway, so I saw the Trollenberg Terror. The only thing that's different, that's the only thing that's different. It's got some cool titles. Forrest Tucker, who you may know from F Troop, or I knew as, we'll get to that in a moment. Jimmy Sangster, longtime Hammer horror writer. This is from 1958, released in the United States on July 7th, and released 1958 in the United Kingdom on October 7th. So I'm assuming it just was, I don't know. Tucker also starred in The Cosmic Monsters, which has a different name in the UK, which I don't remember. I've seen that once. I think I had the Rhino video of it, but I haven't seen it since then, so probably 30 years. And, where was the story from? It was a television show as well. And it kind of shows. Stanley Black does a great score, and the photography is wonderful. Now, the print I have is not the best, so I'm sorry about the pictures. I tried to find a nicer one, but just couldn't. Quentin Lawrence does a wonderful job of directing as well. So and I don't know what Tempian means. There's our sisters, like I said, the Anne and Sarah Pilgrim. The younger one is Anne. She's telepathic. For the longest time, I thought they said some reviews have said she's psychic, and she's not. She's telepathic, which makes a lot more sense and grounds it firmly in science fiction rather than, it's like, people with. You say someone's telepathic and they're wonderful. You say someone's psychopathic and you get a whole different reaction. And there is Forrest Tucker because Anne just fainted into his lap and ruined his paper. And once again, you may know him from F Troop. I knew him from the original Ghostbusters. There's Spencer and Tracy, and he was Kong. So very comedic actor, but also he's fine. Although sometimes you can kind of hear it in his voice. I don't know if he was in F Troop by now. Like I said, he made an extra like at least 2 movies in England, probably for a holiday. They paid him to go over and make the movies. I'd have done it. So yeah, the pictures are going to be a bit blurry, and he gives her a jolt there. He doesn't say what it is, but he'll put color back in her cheeks. There's a nice picture of him. There's the mountain, the Trollenberg Mountain. It was the final film shot at Southall Studios, and one of the last films released by DCA, Distributors Corporation of America. It probably didn't make a lot of money. It might have been on the second or third bill. Who knows? But it's a good movie. It's a little undone, maybe a little more than a little undone by the eye creatures themselves. I guess they're way better than the eye creatures. I'll tell you what. There's our ostensible British hero, who is what is his name? Wild, maybe? He's a reporter, but he doesn't tell anyone that for a while. Now they're all having a toast. This gentleman and his Dewhurst, his pal Brett, is headed up the mountain. Guess what's going to happen to them? And there's our scientific hero, Warren Mitchell, as Professor Crevitt. He's got an unusual accent, hard to press, but nobody would have thought about it at all in the United States at 58. He was just a foreigner. Possibly German, though. He sounds kind of Swiss. Hard to tell. And they're old pals. Him and Forrest Tucker is Alan Brooks, and they both been involved in this sort of thing before in the Andes, which is kind of nice that this has happened before. They've recognized it, and something stopped it in the Andes. But look at this closed circuit television here, and they're in an observatory on the Trollenberg, and it's accessed by trolleys. Trolleys? No, those things that you get in to go skiing, and I've just completely drawn a blank. Let's see if I can find it here. What they say, spotter plane. Yeah, Brett was the other guy. I'm trying to see what they're called now. Trammels. You've seen them. You'll know what they are when you see them. There's the mountain again. Apparently that's a cotton ball that's moving as the cloud that just sits there, and they're discussing it in their very, very fine English, and his American and his oddball accent. There's it's radioactive, and there's our 2 hikers, our doomed hikers, and the thing the things in the mountain, because there's more. There should be the crawling eyes, but it's just the crawling eye. It's the crawling Five Eyes restaurant, but it's communicating with her or trying to boss her around because it's telepathic and much stronger. It's the Professor X of eye creatures. The old school telephone, and now they go up to the mountain. I like these paintings. I think they're fun. There's a plane of some kind. I don't know if that's a model or not. The train at the beginning is a model, miniature, but it's scouting about. And here's one of the Germans who goes up to the mountainside. Oh, there he finds the head. And then Brett is murderous because he's being controlled. She keeps trying to go up the mountain because the thing wants to kill her for some reason. It's never explained where these eyeballs come from, these crawling eyes. I guess they're aliens, but it's not really ever, it just really doesn't say much about where they came from. They're obviously not from this planet, because wait till you see them. Like you haven't seen it before, but no spoilers. They don't look like the posters. So Britt has a huge old scar in his head, but no blood, because they've shot him, because shooting someone works. So you get zombies, astro zombies, if you will. See, bam, he's menacing Anne again. And then once he gets warmed up, he dissolves because he's been crystallized, frozen, if you will. Creatures live in extreme cold, a bit like the Blob. And now they're evacuating because the creatures are headed down to low off the mountain. And this little girl here is the cause of problems. She drops her dumb ball. There they are. I should know what they're called. Drawn a complete blank. So your humble agent sincerely apologizes. I mean, really, nobody cares. There's the first look at the eye creatures, and there's her dumb little ball, and it's busting through the door. And this is down at the Hotel Europa. No pirate twins are present. That's a shout out for Thomas Dolby. Any Thomas Dolby fans here? Let me know in the comments. And then Forrest Tucker Kong goes running in there to save her. And they really need their ecto zapper. I mean, those were the first Ghostbusters. Not the Ghost Breakers. That was Bob Hope. But the Ghostbusters from '75, Filmation did that. So it's a corny show, but I enjoyed it at the time. And yeah, so I'm not really hard to please when it comes to at least being fun. So the trolley is going up the tram. I don't know. It's annoying that I can't remember what that. I had it a minute ago. So the just retreat. Cable car. That's what they're calling it on Wikipedia. We're going with that. It's freezing the cable car, which jolts, but everybody gets up there. This is Hans. He is not with Franz, and he will not tell you. He is not there to pump you up. He ran off because he didn't want to go up the mountainside to get away from the crawling eyes, and ran smack into their cloud, and now guess what? He's possessed. They kill him too. They finally realize, it's not a great shot. Molotov cocktails, fire will work on the crawling eyes because they're creatures of incredible cold. Actually, the blob froze with cold, was immune to fire. I'm thinking of that slime story that I read and talked about from the Monster Museum, Alfred Hitchcock. That thing burned in fire. But there it's on fire, fire, fire. I think Beavis would have enjoyed this. So this is a pretty decent shot. I mean, it's not great because you can't really tell this is our hero. Not Brett Wild, the reporter there being hung up by his neck by the monster, one of the monsters. There's a better shot, and that's not it's not undecent. It's not bad. It's just undone because they're small. You can tell they're small when you see the flames, but these are fine effects here where the process shots where it's in front of the creatures, and they are ridiculous. The crawling eyes. They have tentacles, but they end in little tubes. They look like hoses. And you can really tell that they're being manipulated by strings and wires. And again, I'm not complaining because they're imaginative and it's fun, and you just let it go. But Hans came back to life and threatened. Oh no, it broke into the Unbreakable Observatory. And then they call in a bomber and they drop all the napalm. You can kind of see its eyeball there. With just slightly better effects. And I say this about the giant claw, which I also love. I don't love this one as much as the giant claw. Just slightly better effects. This would have been a winner. It would have been right up there, a minor classic and it is a classic, because the script is good and it works. By the time you see the monsters, almost an hour into a 78, how long is this movie? Let me scroll back up here. 84-minute movie. By the time you see them, it's almost an hour in, or maybe 50 minutes. You're invested into the characters. You want to know what's going on. At least I did. There's the bomber. Nice stock shot as it circles around and drops some more napalm on it or firebomb it or whatever they're using. Napalm a thing in 1958 or 57 when it was shot. And they're done. Then they're charred. So that's it. They beat the invaders or whatever they are. Now, what happens? It was 3 years earlier that they left the Andes, and how'd they get over to Germany? We'll never know because they never shot it. They could have done this. I would have had old Forrest Tucker be that same character in his next movie because why not? I mean, or maybe that was the Cosmic Monster. Let's see if I can find out. Where is his selected filmography? Come on. There it is. The Trollenberg Terror. Oh, it's called The Strange World of Planet X. Same time frame, probably made before this. Yeah, just 6 months before. But he's Gil Graham, so they missed having a little series there. So and now the Doctor, they're all happy that they can go, and Wilde and Anna are probably in love. And one would hope that Forrest there with the older sister, they didn't really shoehorn a love story in here at all. So good on them for that. I think Anna's yeah, Anna's giving, and then let me get back to the cast there. Jennifer Jane as Sarah Pilgrim. That's Sarah right there, and the Doctor. And they're all like, "Let's hope it stays that way." And then we fade out. There's the mountain one last time. No puff, no cloud of cotton puff there. And there's our cast. There's one more card, but I didn't get it, and it really doesn't matter. The little goofy girl, she was not the best little actress, but it's all right. She was just only there. Carolyn Glazer, she was only there to almost get eaten or her head pulled off. Oh, I have not played a single thing else from this crawling eye.
Where there are mountains, there are always clouds.
But this one remains static. On the side of the Trollenberg, it never moves.
Freak of nature.
A radioactive freak of nature?
It strikes without warning.
So I didn't even notice that. I love this picture. This is a better, because the eyeballs don't have eyelashes. But DCA, from the company that brought you Rodan, which was hugely popular and made them lots of money. I think that's interesting that a Japanese movie would get, yes, from the company that brought you Rodan. Well done.
Wreaking death and destruction too horrible to behold. A force of evil that tortures its victims and hurls them mercilessly to the brink of murder and madness.
Mercilessly, because it possesses two of them. Zach. Oh.
What is it, and what does it crave, this creeping horror that hungers and thrives on human flesh while it inhabits its own silent world that no man can penetrate?
You can really tell this is the U.S. trailer because none of that's true. It doesn't eat people; it just cuts their heads off. We don't find out why it's malevolent. There's the DVD cover. I had that. I think it's the Wade Williams one, and they talked about it being the UK version or something. I don't even remember anymore.
No one is safe from its spell of destruction. A cold, hypnotic stare striking fear into the hearts of all, creating a frenzied nightmare for those who behold it.
Or beheld it.
The cloud is splitting up.
Splitting out.
There are 4 of them now, and all moving this way.
I swear he said 5 in the movie, but That professor sure was a Four Eyes, though, wasn't he? All right. So that's the crawling eye, my fellow agents. Once again, you will see that at the end of the trailer, at the end of the episode here, which is rapidly coming to a close. I hope you've enjoyed it. I do think it's a minor classic. I think it's right up there with the Giant Claw, or maybe Son of Blob, where it's good, but it's not great. It had the possibility. The Giant Claw could have been, well, we'll go into that when we review the Giant Claw. Be that as it may, my fellow agents, this is that's the end of the episode. So always be careful if you're headed for Geneva and your telepathic sister says, hey, we need to stop at Trollenberg. Don't do it. And until our next assignment, this is X7. Oh, let me get some music. Until our next assignment, this is X7, signing off.
This alarm fills the night with terror. For high on a mountainside, a mysterious force of evil that fears such as no human being has ever seen before.
Where there are mountains, there are always clouds.
But this one remains static. On the side of the Trollenberg, it never moves.
Freak of nature.
A radioactive freak of nature?
It strikes without warning, wreaking death and destruction too horrible to behold. A force of evil that tortures its victims and hurls them mercilessly to the brink of murder and madness. What is it, and what does it crave, this creeping horror that hungers and thrives on human flesh while it inhabits its own silent world that no man can penetrate? No one is safe from its spell of destruction, a cold, hypnotic stare striking fear into the hearts of all, creating a frenzied nightmare for those who behold it.
The cloud is splitting up.
Splitting up.
There are 4 of them now, and all moving this way.